Slate it. Mark. Roll camera. Speed. Mark. Welcome into the Rowdy Studios. Bassmasters and Buzz Cutler joining you for another scintillating discussion of NASCAR issues like, say, for example, Clint Bowyer's contract, because statements from Richard Childress and Mr. Bowyer yesterday indicate to me, Buzz Cutler, he's probably not going to be back there next year.
Read between the lines, did you? Let's listen to this exchange between Clint Bowyer and Jenna Fryer of the Associated Press yesterday at Richmond International Raceway.
Jenna Fryer, AP, with your weekly contract question. Richard was on Sirius today, and he seemed to talk about you and the relationship in the past tense. He said that it's not 100% dead, but he said it doesn't seem very good. Is that your interpretation?
Yeah, I think that's fair. We're just working on everything. That's the biggest thing is just trying to get everything done as far as the future.
Are you at the point now where there's things that look really good that are outside of RCR?
Yeah, I mean there's opportunities and stuff we're just trying to weigh out, and again you gotta have all the stars line up. You can't just have one piece of the puzzle or a couple pieces of the puzzle. You got to have the whole puzzle put together, and until you do that in today's world, you're wasting your time talking about it, to any media, because you don't really have anything to deliver to them.
So there you have it. We know Carl Edwards re-signed with Jack Roush, Dale Jr. re-signed with Rick Hendrick, but Clint Bowyer, pretty talented guy, made the chase, 3 times, Cutler? Doesn't look like he's going to be back.
Well,
what does that mean for RCR? Who's going to take that seat, if anybody, and where does Clint end up?
Well, I don't know if anybody is going to take that seat. Remember, this is the first year that RCR has successfully had 4 cars. We overlooked the Casey Mears experiment, right? So I think RCR will just go back to 3 cars, especially because there's a glut of sponsorship. We've talked to multiple sources who say...
There's not a glut. There's sort of the opposite of a glut.
What does glut mean?
A lot.
Oh, there's not that. There's not a lot.
A dearth. I think you mean a dearth.
A dearth of sponsorship.
Don't get your gluts confused with your dearths.
We've talked to multiple sources who say, look, Clint Bowyer and Richard Childress were just way far apart on money.
Well, that's where I ask you the question, doesn't that mean if you get a guy who's not as expensive as Clint Bowyer? Now, granted, you don't know if the sponsorship hangs on Clint Bowyer, but if the issue is between the driver and the owner and a difference in what they think the driver's worth, we'll get a driver that you can come to an agreement with. I'm not sure the 4th car is dead.
No, I think what's going to happen is Childress is going to wait until his grandson is ready to step up to Cup.
Oh, you mean like next year?
Well, no, next year he's going to put him in a nationwide race, but that's another video. A nationwide car, that's another video. Then in 2 years, he'll put him in a Cup car. So I think he'll just lay low for a year.
He's going to mothball it for a little while?
He's going to mothball it for a year until Austin Dillon is ready to bring the 3 back to Cup. But what I think is interesting...
Haven't we been waiting for a ride for Brian Vickers? Huh?
I don't, for what? Because whoever takes that 4th car at RCR is obviously just a 1-season seat filler until Austin steps up to Cup. So why would you take that? I guess if you don't have any other options.
Thank you.
But what's interesting about the Bowyer scenario, okay, he wants to get paid, and I don't judge him for that, but you contrast that with a Greg Biffle who took a pay cut to stay with Roush Fenway.
Well, look, we don't know what the numbers are, right? And Clint was very upset when somebody reported that he was asking for a helicopter or a ride in a helicopter to every race or something like that. He said that's ridiculous. So we don't know what he's asking for. We don't know what reasonable is here. I think Clint Bowyer is a very good driver. And I would be very surprised if he doesn't end up in a Cup ride next year. So the question is, if it's not Childress, where is it? The obvious candidate right now is Richard Petty Motorsports. That's the place we've heard that he might go. We know the owner over there, Andrew Mearstein, is very high on Clint Bowyer. I personally agree with him on that. Is there anywhere else?
Well, Joe Gibbs is always a possibility, as is, we've heard Michael Waltrip Racing. We've even heard that Roush has reached out to him, although I think that's less likely. But it keeps coming down to sponsorship. Roush has sponsorship issues with the drivers they have in hand. Does Gibbs have a 4th sponsor they can start a new team with? I don't know.
They had one for Carl Edwards, we think.
But
would they have one for Clint Bowyer?
We also think Clint Bowyer brings the 5-hour energy sponsorship with him. I think that's his sponsorship, not Richard Childress's. Right. So maybe if he says to Joe Gibbs and J.D. Gibbs, look, I got 5-hour energy, I got half the races or whatever the number is covered, then it seems like maybe a more likely scenario.
And you have to look at this basic question. Is who I have in the seat better than Clint Bowyer, or is Clint Bowyer better? There are a lot of owners that can say Clint Bowyer is better than what I have right now. That's just the business we're in. So Clint Bowyer will end up in a Cup ride next year. You can be pretty sure about that. For Buzz Cutler, I'm Bass Masters. We will see you next time right here in the famous, if not infamous, Rowdy Studios.
Let's go to Richmond.
Yeah.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.